Hello.
Hey, hi.
Give me a second. Okay, we have Angie and Jerry coming on.
Can.
You can hear me fine?
Then,
Okay, great. Fantastic. Welcome
that,
back, John. Superior John.
hi.
Um, Let me just get a few
Is
things settled.
then never watch
He fucking zibai later I'll make fun of him. I'm gonna viciously mock the motherfucker later. Cause he damn cock I have no words for him as to like how
Yeah,
exactly how cock he is.
yeah. I was glad I watched this film for free. My friend got like some GV voucher
Sorry, what's that?
for free. I'm glad I watched for free.
Oh,
My friend had some like Golden Village voucher
sorry, what's that?
for free. I'm glad I watched for free. My
Eh,
friend had some like Golden Village voucher.
okay.
I'm glad I watched for free. My friend had some like Golden Village voucher.
So fucking scam.
Yeah,
I feel
it's
very scam on that thing.
correct. Like the last movie, right, was actually a very good story premise. It's about Mark Lee and the two other guys. They form a opposition party to go against PAP in the 80s.
Yeah, we wanted to watch that. End up we didn't.
Yeah. It was damn wasted. It's like pretty great idea, no? But he just like squandered it on a lot of like weird stuff lah. And it took the film to go until part two just to talk briefly about that. The rest was just like, oh, this is the 80s, this is how we grew up, that kind of stuff lah. And it took the film to go until part two just to talk briefly about that. The rest was just like, oh, this is the 80s, this is how we grew up, that kind of stuff lah. And it took the film to go until part two just.
Okay, your audio is coming in fine. Now
Okay,
I'm just checking my audio.
The film to go until part two just.
Okay, your audio is coming in fine. Now
Okay.
I'm just checking my audio. Maybe John, you can speak a few words for me. Let's see where the echo is coming from.
Okay, testing 1 2 1 2 1 2 3. Mic test.
Maybe John, you can speak a few words for me. Let's see where the echo is coming from.
Okay, testing 1 2 1
Yeah,
2 1 2 3.
You
Mic test.
for some reason you have some
Maybe John, you
echo.
can speak a few words for me. Let's see where the echo is coming from. Yeah. Mic test 1 2 1 2 3. Mic test 1 2 1 2 3.
I think. Wait, I don't know if these seats are like available to sit on. Okay.
And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to
Hi,
another
gentlemen.
episode of the
Wait, I don't
LongKang
know if
After Hours.
these seats are like
Angie, shut
available
the
to sit
fuck
on.
up, Jesus! The live stream has started.
And we are live,
Oh.
ladies and
What
gentlemen.
apps?
Welcome
I-
to
So, yeah, yes, welcome to another live stream, the LongKang After Hours. Today we'll be doing the Go Army review. And of course my cats are going crazy as well. Jesus, okay, anyway. Okay, so today we have Jerry and Angie first time appearing on the LongKang live stream, despite being a co-host since the beginning. And then of course we have Superior John Choo, our
Hi.
resident movie critic.
hello.
Good to have you all on board this
Thank you.
momentous movie review, our first live stream movie review.
Yeah.
Yep. Angie, you're gonna give
Awesome.
our audience the fucking like seizure and vertigo,
Blair
by the way.
Witch Project.
Yeah.
Angie's visuals is more interesting than the
I know,
entirety
right?
of the film
I'm
itself.
actually, I'm actually doing a live,
Yeah.
and the
The
reason
whole
for
film-
this is
Should have been shot in Angie's camera style and it would have been infinitely
Way
more
better movie.
compelling.
The whole
yeah.
movie should have just been directed by Angie Neo.
Yeah.
Same surname,
I
right?
swear.
Whatever, fuck it. By the way, is Jack Neo your uncle or something?
I don't. I used to claim him during the I Not Stupid time, but right now he's not my relative.
Vanish,
So-
vanish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no claims to Jack Neo whatsoever.
Became the crazy uncle.
Let me see if I can get like a more picturesque surrounding. I'm actually in that CBD area right now because I forgot about this live stream.
Yes. Very responsible of you.
Oh, doggy! There's a doggy. No.
Stop getting distracted, man. She's just trying to every damn thing she can so she don't have to talk about the movie.
No, she wants to
It
talk
was
about the
that-
movie, that's why she's here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I tell you
You
who
realize
doesn't.
I could have just not shown up, right? Like
Yeah.
Dan Wong.
That's why. Okay, let me tell you who doesn't want to watch this movie, and that would be Dan Wong. Okay, and first of all, I would just like to say, right, Dan Wong, you piece of motherfucking shit. I hate you forever. This is a guy, right? Okay, that is willing to talk about fucking like hiding shit in other people's ceiling and come up with ridiculous hypothetical where the prime minister has shit on his fingers and like also whatever scatological nonsense, right? And then when I made the call out, right, for all of the LongKangKitties co-hosts to go and watch this movie so we can review it, here is what he says. Hi guys, I have a hill I would like to die on. I absolutely do not want to watch Go Army. Happy to join you for podcast, but flat no for watching the movie. Crosses my personal boundaries. I didn't even know fucking Dan Wong has any boundaries whatsoever. He
Clearly, Jack
continues,
Neo is a boundary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he has no boundaries, man.
and then he
This is
continues.
clearly a lie.
I rather go for corrective work order than to watch Go Army. Even if my wife Lydia asks me to watch with her, I will decline, so don't take it personally. No, fuck you, I take it personally, okay? This is the LongKangKitties we're talking about. Alright? You suffer just as we have suffered. Okay? Look at Jerry. Jerry, his dad went to hospital and he still went to watch the fucking movie. This guy,
I have a fucking ulcer in my mouth right now. It hurts to talk.
yes.
I went to watch the fucking movie. When I was on leave, it was raining. I was like, maybe I shouldn't go. The heavens telling me not to go. Yesterday,
No.
my dad have to make himself fall down to prevent me from watching the movie. So they were sent in the hospital. And I still went. Okay, fuck you, Dad.
And then you see Angie double book herself and she still make the effort to IRL live stream with her mask on in the middle of the CBD. This is pure effort, okay? And
I
then
can hardly fucking breathe.
yeah.
But then, right, can you also mention the fact that I couldn't find anyone to go with me to the movie, so I had to watch it by myself?
No, that one is given. That's a given. Okay, I couldn't
I
find
think-
anybody to watch me.
Yeah,
right?
no, yeah.
And of
Yeah,
course,
my wife wanted to go, and I'm like, no, please, don't let her.
Don't waste my money.
Yeah, don't let Jack News earn twice the amount of money that he could have.
and
I'll
of
watch
course,
it and I'll tell you what it is.
Yes,
and of course, our wonderful guest Jonathan Choo, who's taken time out of his schedule to join us on the live stream to talk about this.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, let's okay. Enough viciously mocking Dan Wong. Let's let's jump straight into to the review now. And kind of maybe we just start off the whole thing, right? Like the primer, which is before the film even happened, already got controversy already, right? So we had two controversies happen. One of it was the quote-unquote fat shaming of one of the so-called more rotund actress in the film.
Rotund indeed.
Yeah, rotund, yeah. I'm being politically very correct now, Okay. So, apparently, like, I think it stems from her name, as in her character's name, right? Which is Yuan Yuan Yuan, I don't know if I got the intonation correct, but I didn't hear it in the movie. So, Yuan, for those who don't understand Mandarin, it literally means round. So if you put three of these together, you're implying that she's extremely round, which is not
Yuan to the power of 3.
Yeah, I mean there's no there's no Chinese parent I know that will give their child this name. By the way, they will maybe put 1 yuan inside. Okay, maybe 1, not all.
Tang Yuan.
So yes, of course that's the first one. Then of course we have the so-called the transphobic or transphobia sentiment coming out from one of the actresses who transitioned from male to female, and also a lot of it stems from the character name, which is Amanda Man or Amanda Man, depending on the dialect. So yes, guys, what do we think about?
There's one more controversy. Not enough diversity because there's only one Indian and one Malay recruit in the entire bunk.
Oh yeah. But that one is because they are a platoon. So platoon, I think still okay.
Yeah, yeah.
If it's the whole company, only one Indian, one Malay, that's a problem. But one platoon, I think generally that's the right one. Okay, but anyway, that aside, yep.
Like what I wanted to know, right? Because I wasn't really keeping the timelines of these in mind, is whether or not the movie was already released in the theaters when those controversies erupted, or like
no, it was before.
It was before.
And no, I mean like whether or not like the production already ended. You know, like the post-production where they like put all the things together. Because, and I'm going into the film itself right now, right? Like the Amanda character, who is played by the trans actress,
yep,
like hardly had any screen time.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And there were no reference to her being a trans in the first place.
Yeah.
And then like for Yuan Yuan Yuan, there were not that many fat jokes in the whole thing. So I wanted to know whether
there's 2 fat jokes, and then there's 2 instances of the trans actress doing something. And both instances are breaking up fights.
But what I wanted to know is whether they like edited the movie to take out references of those things after the controversy, right? But we will never know, I guess.
I mean, unless there's a director's cut, like a Jack Neo director's cut. Yeah.
John, you want to take it from the top? I think we're like going in 8 different directions now.
I think this is from the top.
No, okay, so I think what we need to address is both the actresses who were kind of playing the characters, the fat Yuan Yuan Yuan, and then like the Amanda Man, now is Amanda Ong, right? They changed the name to Amanda. The both of them came out. Both of them came out to defend the movie, and then they were saying like you should watch it because I didn't feel that I was being fat shamed or trans shamed or whatever. So yeah.
Well, I think that maybe from their experience, they probably had quite a wonderful time. But I think in as soon as they see the names on the posters, right, it's very easy to just jump on them and just explode.
I mean, that was before the movie. But having watched the movie, right, let me just run you through some of the names, okay? One of the names is called Lily Lee. And then another name was Monica Cheng.
It's very Jack Neo, by the way.
Yeah.
It's so Jack Neo.
Monica Cheng.
Very juvenile, very juvenile.
Freaking Monica Cheng means like touch your buttocks.
I can imagine he thought of that.
In Hokkien.
Yeah, he thought of that. It's like, wow, it's
the funniest things, guys.
Look, this name Monica Cheng. And then there was Fatima for the Malay character, like which is like a super stereotypical Malay name, like female Malay name. right? So I mean, it's very typical object new. And then like the alien was called what? Lao Lan Lan or something.
Lao
can't
Lan,
remember.
is it
Yeah.
Lao Lan? Yeah.
I can't remember. But it's basically he's just naming their characteristics,
Yeah.
Yeah.
except for Monica Cheng, because I don't know what is Monica Cheng doing.
The Monica Cheng
Yeah,
thing was like
Yeah.
a 20-year-old joke, man. This email has been circling around since the 90s.
Yeah. Except the suicidal girl was just like Joey. Yeah.
Joey, that's the only normal person
Yeah.
who commits suicide, right?
Yeah.
There's like two quote unquote normal names. One is Princess, the other one is Joey.
Princess is not a normal name. Come
But
on.
I mean that's like the most normal out of the, as in it's not like a play on some like Hokkien vulgarity or some like obscure reference to touching a person's butt in dialect or whatever. It's just princess and she behaves like a princess. Full fucking do.
How are
I
you
just-
supposed to?
I just thought it's weird because when I watch a movie, right, slowly you kind of like see who the center of the focus is, and then it's very weird that there's all these characters. Then all of a sudden they narrow down the focus on the princess character. It's like I don't know if she's the best character to be the narration of the movie.
Maybe we'll save that for like later when we get
Okay.
into the thing. But let's
Okay.
do one thing that we always do when we do movie reviews, which is like do one round and then we'll
Yeah.
give like a sentence or something or rating.
Yeah, sure. Do you want to start, John?
I'm so confused. I was like, why are you talking to yourself, John?
Right. Personally, I didn't really understood what's the point of making this film. Because it's not... Because if you were to say that this is like SAF asked you to make, right? Then I'm okay with that, no? But apparently this one had no... It's nothing to do with SAF. It's very much its own thing, right?
Yep.
Didn't the SAF come out and say that like, let me show you a better version of what
Yeah.
actually happens in the
Yeah,
army
yeah,
because they
yeah.
were scared that girls will not go into the army because of this movie.
Yeah. So that's the thing of, and I think like in recent interviews, Jack Neo also said that it's hard enough to make movie. I know it's hard, but this is just it's like beating on the corpse already. It's like jump. You were making those long time ago films. Why not just do on this? It's like dragging out the old singer dragging out an Elvis suit and putting it out again, that kind. So it felt a little bit like that, lah.
So how many like stars out of 10 would you give the movie?
I'll give 4. Yeah.
Okay. Jerry, do you want to go next?
I'll give 4 as well. 4 points I think is fair. 1 point for actually getting the movie out. Not saying much. Yeah, like one point for effort lah. Then the rest is honestly is really a run of the mill movie, and I thought there were some really ridiculous parts that
Yeah.
didn't really make sense. But generally, overall, I think there was effort made to try to make it look like a good representation. Yeah, but it failed lah. There was effort, but it failed.
Angie?
I would give it a 5 out of 10, but I think that's because I've never been to the army, and then like a lot of parts I'm like, does this actually happen?
I will say it's a coin flip. You flip a coin, then you roughly get the probability of whether that actually happens or not.
Sure.
It's 50-50. Some parts are like, okay, this is too accurate. Like it brings back like waves of nostalgia. Then other parts is just like, what the fuck is like? There's no way, right? There's no way.
Exactly.
Even the modern army is like, there's no way. I know a lot has
Yeah.
changed, but fuck. Okay, yeah. Well, before I give my rating, I just like to let everybody know the power of LongKangKitties alkaline
Go away.
water. Okay, this is like really amazing alkaline water. Okay, it's good for body, good for soul, and you can get just a sticker only. Okay.
Make your own
Product
alkaline water.
product placement. I'm gonna just randomly intersperse product placement throughout the whole review. By the way, this is
Sure.
gonna
Do
be
we have
my-
that many products?
This is going to be my comedic shtick. We have 5 products. No, actually, we have more. We have each individual sticker. That's total 9.
Doggy.
Yeah. This your Jack Neo moment.
Yeah. I'll give it
Can you
like.
see a dog?
Are we just gonna get
No.
distracted by dogs?
No, it's so dark.
I'm in a park at Gokul. So like there's a lot of dogs here, which is great.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a 4.7. I don't
That's
know.
incredibly specific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first 4 points, I think everybody roughly knows where it comes from. The 0.7 points is, I actually do see like a spark of genius, right, behind all of the bullshit. You know, like this is just never-ending cascading waterfall of just shit, right? Just rushing down from the top of the mountain, but in between, right? You know, in between, once in a while, right, when there's enough of a gap, and then you just see for like a split second, right, there's like this spark of genius, you know, just behind this waterfall. And if only Jack Neo, right, had the courage to just swim through the shit and take out their fucking creative genius, right, I think it would have been a really, really good movie, or at least something that's worthy of his name, like in the 90s, I would say. You know, the kind of like the nostalgic classic.
Wow, that's like 20 years ago, man.
Yeah. But I mean, it's still there. I think he still has it, but he's just very restricted by money.
Sure. Sure. I agree.
Which is a
Like even after all that product placement, he still needs money.
apparently, okay, so the opening weekend is 1.6 million, which is incredibly high, by the way. When I look at the opening weekend for all of his previous movie, it was like 400,000, 500,000, you know, like that kind of range.
I bet it's a controversy lah. Like everybody was like, "Oh my god, I need to find out what's going on."
Yeah, so the 1.6 million is it sounds good, but then I heard the budget is like $1 million for the movie. So
they made it back already, huh?
yeah, and of course plus the product placement, they would have extra, you know, money from that, and then on top of that there will be the DVD sales from fucking Po Heng. I'm sure they will earn some from that as well, the royalties for whatever merch and so on and so forth. So yeah, overall I think it's definitely a project driven more by money more than anything else lah, which is a shame lah to me. Yep. Okay, so having all that out of the way, maybe we can just do wait, somebody asked me if that's my bath water. No, that is not my bath water. Okay, that is actually a Rokujin, which I'll be drinking later.
If we were to sell bath water, FYI, I think we should sell Dan Wong's bath water because it will be the filthiest bath water.
Everybody wants
get
your
lots
bath
of
water
DNA.
though, okay? I know for a fact, right, we have at least one person who wants your bath water, NG, okay?
At least one.
At least one.
At least
At
one.
least one.
We'll wait for at least 10, then maybe I'll consider.
Okay. So, let's just dive straight into the quote-unquote movie review proper.
Should we do it in like a chronological order?
Not really. I don't think so. So the problem with this movie, right, just right off the bat, is there's no plot. I think that's like the one thing that I think all of us can agree on.
No, like for me as a person who's never been into the army, right? Like I'm not even sure like what's going on because we start the scene where we see all the girls from the platoon, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In their bunks or whatever, their rooms, and then they're all dressed in like civilian clothing, like pajamas or whatnot. And then the sergeant comes into the room and orders them grab panda. Oh no, sorry, hello panda. No, it's not hello panda. What's it? Panda.
Food panda. Food panda.
You can see I'm not familiar with all these stupid things.
Yeah, the
Yeah, and
product
I was
placement
just
didn't work.
No, then I was like, wait, like don't you guys have like a briefing before you all go into the bunks? Because that's where they get their briefing. And then they get like food panda delivered to them.
The briefing portion is okay. I didn't have food panda obviously. But we had it's also something similar where the sergeants just came in, like it was all very informal. We didn't have to call them sergeants yet. And so the first day really is like honeymoon. That was my experience. Some basic decorum was followed. Then of course there's the OC talk lah. Right, this there's mud on your face. Mud is soil, our soil, and all that. It's the same fucking speech. They give the same fucking speech the whole time.
Like, did they have the screen with the words that, like,
obviously not.
the scrolling words?
Yeah, mine didn't. But they had the same, the gravitas, the intonation, and that kind of. But yeah. So that portion is not super unrealistic.
Like, I think within the first 15 minutes, right, we saw at least 3 to 4 product placements already.
Yeah. First 30 minutes, there were definitely at least 2 big ones. The first one is the Nippon Paint.
Oh yeah. The Nippon
Oh my god.
The Nippon
And then the supplements.
Yeah, the supplements.
The vitamin supplement, not one person, right, but 2 people brought
2 people,
it.
yeah.
Holistic way.
And they even
Or even
and they even brought in this so-called product placement at the plot line, right, which is that, if it's free, you probably shouldn't get it because it might be 冒牌货, like it might be irritation or it might like give you like bad stomach at the end of the night or whatever. That's like, god damn, you have more plot for your product placement than for your fucking movie.
In fact, I think there are scenes, right, that were made to just service the plot, right, than anything. In fact, like, you remember there's a sequence when Princess go home and the parents were played by Jack Neo and Chen Li Ping, right?
Yeah.
It serves no purpose whatsoever,
No, wait. But the funniest part, and this part, I burst out laughing in the theater, and I was the only person who started laughing hysterically, was when Princess runs into the house, right? The giant fucking landed house.
Yeah.
And then she embraces Jack Neo, and she says, "King Papa."
Oh yeah.
And then the mother, who is played by Chen Li Ping, Queen Mama. I'm like, oh my god, Jack Neo already called himself a king in this movie.
Yeah.
Legit. Okay, like,
man,
wow.
legit.
I mean,
It's a great thing about being a director, see.
the daughter is called Princess, right? And
Yeah.
Can I just go back?
follows, yeah.
No, like, can I just go back to Jimami Tofu where the director like made himself
the object of affection.
exactly
between two
from
girls,
2 hot girls, okay? 2 hot Japanese girls. So, and I would say that Our Girls Go Army is still a better movie than Jimami Tofu. Okay.
Yeah,
Ouch.
I agree.
Oh my god.
I do agree.
I just had to get it in there.
Okay.
That's a sick burn.
Wow.
Compared to Jimami Tofu, Our Girls Go Army is like a feminist movie.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I don't think we can go in chronological order because nothing makes sense. I think
Nothing makes
I
sense.
think if we go in chronological order, I think we will confuse the hell of everybody more than if we were just like.
I actually made a list of questions
Okay.
because I have so many questions.
Maybe we start from there. We start with
All right.
answering Angie's question and we see how we can from the questions, right, do the movie review as well.
Right.
Alright, let's go, Angie. Hit
Okay.
us.
So you know there's this person who is super like A type behavior. Like she keeps giving suggestions on like how to improve the existing MO of the army,
Yeah.
and then like making new products. Is this a thing? Can you suggest things to your like sergeant or whoever?
No.
Not at BMT level.
Not at BMT.
Oh, it's USMS, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, USMS, not at BMT level. You only when you go into unit, then you can make recommendations. Yeah.
And even then,
Okay.
right, it's generally ignored unless it's like really good. I
Yeah.
know.
It's very
So
bureaucratic.
the story of the commandos when they jump out of a plane, and then the thing inside their boot always breaks, right? And then some guy actually made one of the guys in the unit lah, not any of the officer, just one of the regular men, suggested that they change the thing into metal or something instead of plastic, and then it saved the army like $3,000 per soldier. Then he was given an award. That's the story. That's like the urban folklore that I heard of lah.
The guy deserves a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, I mean, I
Of
don't
course,
know.
because giving him an award is cheaper than paying him money for his innovation, right?
Yeah.
I cannot substantiate. Okay. I
How dare you?
Yeah, I can't substantiate.
Don't
my
say
claim.
anything that you cannot substantiate, you fucking asshole. Don't
But
get
this
us
is
in trouble, okay?
this is the
Go get
urban-
Prof Mart.
This is the urban legend lah. That's spreading around during my time in the army lah. So okay.
Okay.
But
My next
funny, Angie mentioned that, right? Now that you mentioned that, I kind of think that actually those suggestion scenes, right, were actually one of the better parts of the film,
It was
Right.
actually quite funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I thought it was like really cringe.
It's
It
super
is lah. It
cringe.
is. It is lah.
There's a mix of cringe and actually they can do more for the sense of humor, but they didn't.
Yeah,
They went the cringe way lah, basically.
yeah. They went the cringe way.
It's
I wish she actually made like good suggestions, you know, like imagine if like she's some kind of super genius, right, who can make like adjustments to like equipment or everything that really made sense, right?
That would be
Because why
great.
not have a woman from STEM, right? Because feminism. But
You
no,
know the funny thing about that lady, right, is when she suggested the camel cream thing, I was thinking, oh, is that going to be another product placement? Because apparently there's this Korean brand of cosmetics. They came
for
out with
like
camel
their
cream.
army, right?
Yeah, for
For
their
army
army,
boys.
and it was brought to Singapore, and I'm like, oh, is it gonna be that one? No, it's not.
what a
It's
wasted-
actually for sunscreen.
What a
that
wasted.
will protect
Yeah, it
your
was.
face.
Yeah, it was for sunscreen, but it was not for that camel cream, which includes sunscreen.
You know what? Not like it's so easy to just like suggest a replacement because like I'm surprised that they didn't like put in some sort of cosmetic, right? That is like long lasting, waterproof, you know, sweat proof. I mean, there are so many cosmetics out there that can do that. You missed opportunity, Jack. You missed an opportunity
Oh, okay.
for product placement right there.
Yeah, true.
Just saying, maybe you should hire me. You know, I got all sorts of ideas.
I would like to know if the female army is really like that. Like, do they really use all this cosmetic / camel cream item?
I will say, having been, in the infantry, I would say that it's not the women who will use it; the men will use it as well.
I know
'Cause-
some guys who do that.
Yeah. I've got a lot of friends who do that, and it is amazing, right? So there was this gay dude in my medic group, and he was like, hey, you should use this. This is like makeup remover. It's gonna get rid of the camel cream and shit. And then he gave us everything, to wipe our camel cream off. And next time round, right, when we went in, right, everyone brought their own makeup removers. All of them brought their own, seriously, because it's just so much more. You can go to the fucking sink and use the entire bar of soap, and the fucking makeup the camel doesn't come off. But the moment you use the makeup remover, it comes off right away. So it's
And
like,
also just
why not?
I also want to address the fact that like I think there were quite a lot of comments about like how misogynistic it is to suggest that women would be concerned about this, like like getting dark, having acne on their face from these creams. And I'm like,
Actually, it's a valid concern. I think
It's valid
look,
concern, yes.
if I had to be conscripted in the army, right, I wouldn't really be concerned about the food because I am not a picky eater. I'm not concerned about the physical torture, but I am very concerned about my skin and like getting tanned.
Yeah, you definitely
know?
shouldn't be like permanently changed because you went to the army. So
Yeah. But I
and
mean,
then-
that would be
and-
one of my
yeah.
top concerns would be that lah.
And
And
I don't
also, where
care,
do I
like-
wash my laundry?
Yeah, I don't care like what is it like, whether is it a permanent injury or like some permanent illness or some permanent scar. Doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't matter, right? Like you shouldn't be permanently changed as a result of going to the army. At least not from a physical surface wise. Personality
Yeah,
change.
but
that one I
at
cannot
least
help
for
you.
this particular part, I don't think it's misogynistic. Because I know a lot of girls would be like, oh my god, my face!
Well, some guys same as well. Okay.
And
and
guys
so,
too, Yeah.
Meow Cat Cool from the chat is like, Innisfree camel removal wipe.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
You shut your
That-
mouth. No
that
product
is the
placement
one.
from the audience. Okay, only I can do product placement. So speaking of which, let me also remind everybody there's a LongKangKitties stickers. Okay, that you can paste at the back of your phone. It's really amazing. So these stickers you can get it from our Facebook marketplace.
At one glance, I thought it was an NFT
Oh, coming up,
That's
coming right
next.
up.
That's next.
I mean, that's next. That's next.
coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got NFTs
So okay,
coming soon. Yep.
yeah. So the other thing that I wanted to ask was, does the crawling blindfolded obstacle course exist?
Wow, that is just some like next level Jack News version of the Matrix BS, man.
I'm like, okay, so there's this part, right, where the girls have to go through an obstacle course where they are blindfolded. And then that one of the actor from like one of the Our Boys to Men actors, what's his name? Aloysius, what? Wait.
He's Maxi Lim. He
Maxi
plays
Lim,
the,
yeah, whatever.
Aloysius
One
Jin.
of those, yeah. Yeah, so that guy, right, like he was telling them, oh, now you're covered by cockroaches. And then the girls, of course, start screaming. Like, who the fuck will, like, any retarded person, right? Like, you're crawling in an obstacle course and your sergeant is telling you about cockroaches. If you don't feel the cockroaches happening on your skin, are you going to start screaming? No, you're not.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah.
your surgeon is fucking. You know what they should have done? They should have like just used like a brush or something to touch this woman, so that that you really simulate like some kind of mental fucked upness.
Correct.
And then that makes more sense, right?
And don't let you know what it is, right?
Exactly. Right? Don't even tell you it's cockroaches. Like you just fucking, your mind just goes wild. It's like some people are not afraid of cockroaches, but it could be snakes, it could be spiders, right? Whatever.
Correct.
So okay, that one, it does not exist. Okay, let's go to my next question.
It's beyond the realm of imagination.
By the way, to spoil for everyone, it's called the Special Obstacle and Cockroach Course, SOCC.
Yeah, I mean that should be your first clue
Fucking
there.
stupid.
Gotta give it to him. It was.
Yeah.
Oh, then one part is that I noticed when they went to do their punishment, the push-up, right? They don't have the yoga mat.
We didn't have yoga mats.
Yeah, they didn't have yoga
Maybe
mats.
it's before the maybe.
Yeah. I do think so. I think when they were filming,
No, hang on. When you are being punished for something, right, minor infractions, and you do your punishment, right, I don't think you get a yoga mat. It's the mass PT, then you get a yoga mat. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense. No, I think it was the worst part about the punishment scenes, which is they don't do the push-up together. Here's the thing, right? You have to do the push-up, everybody synchronized. You cannot just like do your own time, own target, just like carry on the push-up on your own. I have too many Samura, back to zero, and then like redo the whole push-up thing again. And then nowadays also, they don't give you 20 push-up anymore. They say 19 push-up. They always tell you do 19 push-up, because 20 is the limit,
Speaking of punishment, I thought it was very interesting how Jack Neo tried to like injected the concept of manipulation and power play through that one sergeant that threw the bra on the person's face, and then he's like, I don't know that because I cannot control. I suddenly got very into it, and then she got transferred away. Yeah.
Oh, that was the one of the instances of fat shaming. Because
Correct.
Okay, so the other question I had, where do you hang your laundry after you wash them? Can you wash laundry in the oven?
Yeah.
Then where do you hang them?
There's a
yeah.
clothesline usually away from the building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But
so that was one of the.
During BMT, you still use the clothesline, but after you go to uni, right, it's
no one gives a shit.
It's just pure because you leave it outside, right? I mean, it's like insects and whatever, and people like steal your shit as well. I have a few missing uniforms. So once BMT is over, I just hang it like on my bed, and then if standby bed or what, then I quickly just chuck it in, chuck it somewhere, and then wet clothes just be them. Yeah.
Okay, so like one of the things that was in the movie was that like the girls, after washing their clothes and their underwear, they started hanging it like on the corridor railing, and then like make the whole place really ugly. And then when one of the sergeants came in to do inspection, is it or something? I don't know why she went in. She saw like giant bra and panties on the railing. So she took it and she was like, whose is this? And because Yuan is the only fat person in the army camp, that platoon, like she was like, it must be yours because it's so big. No, but plot twist, the giant panties that she threw on Yuan's face apparently is not hers.
Yeah.
Then in my mind, I was like, then whose can it be?
Yeah, what the hell, man?
Like, I look at the size, right, and I'm like, there's no one else in the whole army platoon that can wear them and not have them slide to your ankles.
Yeah.
Whose is he?
Johnny
Like,
will
someone
answer
has a-
that, man, in part 2. Or else it will be like, you
It's like
said
a
that.
forever
You still want to
mystery.
watch part 2? You still want to watch part 2?
I would pay money to watch part 2.
Okay.
I'm ashamed of
Just
it.
to find out that.
Let me ask Angie also. Why do you think that's fat shaming though?
I don't know if it's fat shaming actually, but that's what people claim but I mean it's logical deduction, right?
Yeah, I
like
mean-
if it's a really big bra and no one else can wear it, must be hers. What?
That's
Is it fat shaming?
that's what I'm thinking as well. It doesn't feel like it's fat shaming. There was no references, right, that specifically say, like, oh, it's because you're so fucking fat, you're obese or whatever. Like there isn't that kind of like vicious
And so the other part is that there was actually a setup to this because Yuan is the only mother in the whole platoon. Right? So I don't know if it's like a stereotype that fat women have been pregnant before or gave birth to before or whatever. So when they met that sergeant who threw the underwear, this Yuan character said to that sergeant, "Oh, you're so small, you look like my child." So this sergeant has a thing for her, basically, and which is why she specifically picked up the giant bra and panties
And single out, basically.
outside because there were still other like clothings on the railing that she didn't pick up, and single her out.
Yep.
I'm not trying to defend Jack Neo's directing decisions. I'm just saying it out.
I don't see that as fat phobic or fat shaming or anything like that. I mean, if somebody can explain to me why that is the case, sure, I'll be happy to listen, but I just don't see it.
But I think there is like a certain like shame in it that she was the only one that's fat, basically. So the other fat shaming so-called incident was that at the first introduction of everybody, Yuan got up from the table, but because she's quite big size, like she stood and then the chair bumped into like the recruits who were standing behind her. So I think that was the other incident, right?
But is that, once again, is like, okay, maybe it's a bit like,
She totally didn't need to stand up and have that scene, I
Yeah.
feel.
that
was just there for laughs because she's fat.
I think
That
there's
I
a
feel
bunch
a
of
bit-
that. Lah.
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
that
I
he
mean-
was like, hey, let's use the size to like create some laughs out of it.
Though I would say in Jack Neo's defense, there wasn't that many moments that she was singled out and her size was made fun of, I think.
So this is what I want to know. Did he take it out after the controversy?
yeah, we need to wait for Jack Neo.
We won't
Jack
never
Neo cut.
Yeah, we'll never know. Those kind of things we'll never know. He can jolly well
That's the
say,
director's cut.
yeah, exactly. He can jolly well say this is the final version. It's what you see. What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And he will totally dodge that question, and no one will know anymore.
So Meowcat Cool asks, why did Jack Neo chose to add this scene on the sergeant picking on the largest bra and panties? Why not pick up a normal set of undergarments? I don't know, John. Do you have a directorial answer for this?
Again, I think this is really Jack Neo's like his sense of humor, no?
Or his brand? Yeah.
Yeah, it's very funny. It's a very Chinese kind of humor as well. I'm sure if you watch old Hong Kong films, there's countless amount of that kind. And I think
but it's old, man.
it's old, exactly. And it's
So it's Jack
dated.
Neo.
Yeah.
The irony is
Yeah.
the irony is they keep insisting this is not the army of the 80s and 70s, and then he keeps using jokes
hello.
from the 80s and 70s. Angie is distracted by a dog again.
No, okay, let me just jump in here. And I will say that like if he wanted to show the aggression of the old army, right? Like this is a way to show the aggression because the sergeant has it out for this particular recruit. Otherwise, her response of throwing the underwear on her head, right, makes completely no sense. And it's completely unwarranted.
So you it's like a
It's
a
like
plot hook
set up,
lah, right?
It's a
Yeah. It's a
plot
setup
hook,
and payoff,
basically.
yeah.
And then just to make it even so-called funnier, he chose like the fat person with the big underwear, right? Which,
But
yeah.
I think on
I
Angie's
think-
point, sorry, please go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I had nothing to say.
Okay, on Angie's point, I think it's probably him using that particular sergeant to say fat shaming is no good. I think that's what the message is.
Wow. That
Right?
is
Rather than because
No, that's too much, dude. I don't think
Jack Neo is actually woke, man.
I
but the whole
disagree.
thing is this whole movie was him trying to be woke, right?
No way.
Jack woke Neo.
I mean, it's,
Jack Wognell. No way, man.
in some perverse sense, right? Jerry might be right because end up right that sergeant was removed from the
Yeah,
movie
exactly.
Yeah.
entirely,
Right.
and she was never brought back. And
Yeah, exactly.
you contrast it with so further down the movie, right? Kind of the emotional heart of the movie, which is there was another sergeant that was removed from the platoon.
Yeah.
that one elicited a response from the rest of the platoon mates, right? And they were very
Which
vocal
was
about it.
completely ridiculous as well.
But
completely
you
ridiculous.
contrast it with this first sergeant, right, who threw the big underwear at the Yuan Yuan's face. So that one
And
is just
nobody
like,
cared.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody cared. So she just got axed, and then so like what Meowcat Cool also added now, good mind reversal point if the sergeant perceived as the antagonist. So that could be maybe not quite antagonist lah, but certainly some throwaway character that's paying the
think,
consequences for being like malicious towards fat people.
I think
exactly.
Jack Neo is probably, I don't know if it's a comment about like fat people, because I don't think that is a thing, but I think he was more like commenting on that sort of very toxic culture of like, you know, like treating your recruits like shit and then like going over the board with punishments, like not just physical punishments, but also mental shaming. And because I'm from the incessant like.
Another episode.
Are we not live now?
Okay,
And by the
so,
way, right, like
we
my
dropped off.
my battery is like going at an insanely fast rate.
Yeah, I'm sure your
Just saying.
your data as well. Sorry, we dropped off for like a couple of seconds. So yeah, Angie, you were saying something about
I don't remember. I'm looking at dog right now. What did I say?
something like Jack Neo will not use this
I think
and then
it's more like
the incessant story about like how
men
people
just keep talking about their like how they are treated so badly and like, you know, in the in army by their officers or
Same thing.
sergeants or whatever. Yeah, it's pretty much same thing. Right?
same,
So I think that is more a commentary on that rather than anything. Because like throughout the movie, right, he keeps referencing like all the things that do happen, like, you know, like Sergeant Chow Sergeant, like he will say that, oh, my grandmother ran faster than you or something like that, which is like apparently a thing that is used a lot. And then there was this whole backstory of how his grandmother was so strong that she really can like run faster than everybody. So it's actually, you know, so Sergeant Chow is actually a feminist,
It's
you know?
It's the Uno reverse card, right? It's like
Yeah, that was the Uno reverse card, man.
you thought I'm gonna use the same cliche joke, but joke's on you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's like, fucking what the hell? When I saw that, I was like, what the
Which
Yeah, it's-
which that whole reversal, right, is just completely batshit insane, man. Because
I know,
like,
like-
out of nowhere, right, the OC is like, you know how much he sacrificed for you, and it's pouring rain. And then they were like all crying, and like I was like, dude, what the hell are you all crying about, man? Like, it doesn't make any sense, though.
I personally, at that point, right, that was towards the end of the movie, and when the To Be Continued came out, right, I thought it was, Jack, you very, very fresh, you really, really want to make how many movies out of one BMT? This is an insult, man. Like, fucking hell, this is an insult. This is 3 months, maybe 4 months. There's not a lot of things happening. It's very repetitive. You want to make the fucking trilogy out of this, please. Dude.
I wanted to ask you all, like, among all the characters in the film, which character you all thought was the most fat, most well-dimensioned, and most best represented character?
I would say the aliens.
yeah. Oh shit! You stole my
Yeah.
answer, you
I
bitch.
fucking love the
Yeah.
aliens.
Oh my god!
super love the
that's what
aliens.
That's all I wanted to say.
Now you cannot pick it already, sorry. I got it first. First dibs.
Well, you got one alien. There's a second one, so I'll
No, I like both aliens. I like the interaction
choose
of
only
the two
one.
aliens.
You can only
Because
choose
it
one.
shows female friendship, okay?
Yeah.
It shows female
You only
friendship.
choose one. I chose the other alien.
To be honest, they were fairly tame and well-behaved. I mean, the only
Yeah.
mischief they really did was push the princess off the cliff. And
Which, by the way, that scene right where they push Princess off the cliff,
It's so lame. Oh my god,
I mean,
like
it's-
slow-mo.
it's so like
Over the
Bollywood,
top.
right? It's so Bollywood. The editor is just like, director sir, how many transitions would you like me to use for this scene?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure he'll be like telling Princess, right, the character who played, the actress who played Princess, please make sure you flail your arms at least 12 times before you roll down the hill very extremely slowly. And then when you hit the fence, right, at least make sure your body, you know, like sways a couple of times.
But personally, I think Princess is the actress who played Princess. She's fantastic, man. For a character which pretty much doesn't make any sense,
she brought her heart like MVP performance to this totally don't make sense character.
I'm very confused, with this princess character because her parents, right, are Jack Neo, who is the king daddy, and Chen Liping, who is queen mommy. And they both are like very Singaporean. They speak with a Singlish accent. And then they talk at home in Teochew, which is why princesses' English is fucking terrible. but why her English accent, right, is like Indonesian? It's definitely not Singaporean, right? Like, or is it just me? I feel like she has a Indonesian English accent,
But it's very funny, like the stupid pronunciation jokes, right? It's the cheapest joke in the book, right? Yeah. I laugh like mad, man.
I agree.
Of them, they're hamster. that kind of stupid joke.
So there was this scene in when they were outfield, is it, or something?
Yeah.
Where they were supposed to do like this broken telephone. Oh, hi doggy. Broken telephone. Passing of a message, and the first word that the sergeant told them was tactical movement, and then they passed down the chain, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're coming to me. Oh my god, hello. Oh, sorry. So and then they ended up as what? Testicle bobo.
Yeah, some ridiculous.
Testicle Mao.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh yeah, Jerry, your memory is still fresh on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just watched it.
I just
watched it.
I'm laughing hysterically and crying in the cinema because of that. Okay, I'm not ashamed to admit it. And I feel like saying this will probably lower the view of everybody who listens to this podcast. They're like, oh, I thought Angie was the intelligent one in the podcast, but sorry, I like this kind of humor.
Those jokes were actually very effective for its very low sustenance. It's
like by that point you already turn off. Like by that point you already turn off your brain already, so you just react only.
Correct.
That was actually one of the scenes that made me go, "What the fuck, man, dude? Seriously."
Yeah,
I think it's either you go what the fuck or you laugh until you cry.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you guys on like the assessment on Princess because she really is too over the top.
Over the top, yeah.
I think if she dialed it, if she definitely crank it up to 11 now. Like I think if she dialed it down to like 8 or 9, right, I think it'll still be bearable to watch her. But as it is, right, is every time she's on the scene, it's just unbearable. Like I cannot. So there's another scene, right, with her in it, which is the suicide scene. So this scene, right, is supposed to be like a very heavy emotional moment. There was a girl, Joey, which is also Princess's best friend in the platoon. She's crying over her boyfriend not returning her phone calls, whatever, and she the stress of it got too much. She was standing on the edge of the roof, right? She was threatening suicide, and the whole thing. By the way, the music, right, the music of that scene was telling me I should feel like, oh man, something bad is about to happen, right? And then fucking Princess just like, oh, let me show you this dance that I did. She did it once, so Joey was like visibly emotional distraught, like not just upset, she's fucking distraught. And then what's Princess's like response? Oh, instead of just me doing it, let me get my 2 other buddies who's standing next to me right now. The 3 of us do it together. This is the emotional tone of Princess in general. She just doesn't fit. And
I would say, right, like of all the characters, Joey probably got the most like character arc out of anybody else.
Which is also not to say there's a lot lah. I mean,
it's not, but compared to everybody else,
it's.
The boyfriend breaks up with her at God knows where, like GV Go or some weird place.
Of all places, right?
Yeah.
No, and the thing is, her story is very fleshed out, right? The breakup is very fleshed out, the emotional response, the breakup, the suicidal thoughts and everything. But it's just that one incident, it's that one dimension, and it's just stretched out throughout the entire movie. Right. It's like, come on, seriously? How many fucking movies, how many fucking sequels do you want to make before she gets over it?
And there's something that I was
she got over it very fast. What?
No,
she did.
Not really.
No, like after they like pull her back from the building, right? She went for the psychiatric assessment, and then she went back to normal training, and like there was nothing else on the whole thing already.
Well, to be seen lah. But anyway,
To be seen lah.
Yeah, as
I
I was
don't
saying,
know like how part 2 is gonna be lah.
there was one portion of the movie, right, that I was extremely confused about, because so Joey, we see her boyfriend breaking up with her near the start of the movie. So like just when they got into the BMT training, right? And we never see him again. So I actually forgot what he looked like. And then when one of the lieutenants, right, or one of the officer was speaking to her boyfriend, I thought that Joey's ex-boyfriend hooked up with the lieutenant.
Is it or not? I think it is, right?
That's the subplot.
Wait, isn't it?
It is. It is. That's the subplot.
Why did they?
Because
Is
no,
that-
because that's how she got off the building, right? Because the ex-boyfriend called the sergeant.
Yeah.
And then the sergeant picked up the phone, and then Joey
The
heard
officer,
the voice.
actually, the
Then
officer,
she's like,
platoon
oh,
commander.
officer, whatever.
hang on.
They are all the same to me, lah.
I thought, right, okay, so I was very confused, but how I kind of like square it all in my mind, right, is that this guy is just a guy. It's not the ex-boyfriend of Joey.
I think it's the ex-boyfriend.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh my goodness,
Yes.
This makes me.
That's
This
the
fucking
subplot.
makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
So when the officer was taking the phone, right,
Yeah.
Joey thought that it's
She heard
her
the,
phone, you know.
Yeah.
But it's actually the officer's own phone, which the
Can we
boyfriend
also-
tried.
Right. So because it is the officer's own phone, and
Yeah.
she didn't actually hear the voice, right? She just saw the like some number or no, it was the
No,
exact
she
same
heard
phone.
the voice.
But no,
She
it
heard
was
the
the
voice.
exact same phone.
She heard the voice.
The
And it was the
officer-
exact same phone.
The
Both.
officer and Joey had the exact same phone
And phone cover.
and phone cover, and
Yeah.
And the same
that's why,
boyfriend,
and
apparently.
that is where the deception came in. I don't think. Did she hear the voice of the boyfriend? I don't think she did.
She
right?
did. She did. She
No,
said,
she
I
did,
heard
she
his
did.
phone was
voice.
ringing.
She did.
She
Yeah.
totally said, I
Oh
heard
my
his
God,
voice.
I'm so fucking confused. And it's so, and that is such a stupid subplot, right?
Can I just say that
I
the
love that we are
officer...
talking about plot intrigue. Because he's in a Jack No film of all films.
No, I mean, what else can we talk about?
Yeah.
So what was like... I felt that the sergeant... What's her role? Officer?
Yeah.
Or what?
Platoon commander.
platoon
Yeah,
commander.
whatever lah. That lady with the short hair who went to cut her hair or whatever. I don't think she made a convincing officer at all. You know? She's so like mild-mannered. Who I thought was a really good actress as an officer or commanding position person was the sergeant that replaced the underwear sergeant. Underwear showing sergeant. That one, I can believe that she's in the army.
She looked like she's the real deal though.
Yeah.
She
That
does.
lady.
Like the way that she moved and the way she talked. Then like this officer lady is like,
Oh, because her
are you
acting
sure? Are you okay?
Because her acting is terrible. She's very wooden
It
in
is.
her delivery.
It's so
and-
bad. It is so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's almost as bad as her hairstyle.
I'm-
Like, why can't they
I'm-
give her a better hairstyle? Oh my
I'm
god.
just very confused, right, as to why, like, they took some of the takes that they did. Like, I'm sure, right, that she could have delivered whatever shitty lines she was given, like, in a slightly better way that is not so wooden and, like, so rigid. And sometimes it's just her, right? It's just her talking to the camera. And they chose that take. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, just redo the scene. Just redo it.
I've
bro.
actually, but I've never actually seen her act, so I don't know if she can perform better. But what I've
Appeared in the
I've seen,
fourth Boys to Men movie
oh, I didn't watch that.
as
Clearly.
an officer.
Oh, okay.
So, like-
the PC. The
Was she better
Oh,
there?
Was she
okay.
better then? Do you think?
She's pretty much the same. Same.
Okay, so-
but
Okay, so
she
I
just
guess it's just
switched multiverse. She switched multiverse from the
Jack
boys. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing I wanted to say also. You know,
Yeah.
even Jack Neo has a multiverse, okay?
Oh, I remember. You know, in the first scene where they showed the parliamentary scene where like the female MPs were talking.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's the best, man. That was freaking amazing.
One of the ladies sounded exactly like Sylvia Lim.
I think they use a voice or something, right? I don't know.
Really?
But I don't know. Yeah, I know.
I don't think so,
Which,
ah.
I know which
I
one
don't
you're
think
talking
Sylvia Lim would like
Yeah, I
put
don't
her
think
name
so.
to this project,
Yeah.
man.
But
I love they just shot that like they just didn't have any effort. They just quickly shot that.
But then here's the thing, right? That parliamentary session is still better than any of our real life
Agreed.
parliamentary sessions.
Yeah.
No,
It's
like,
so,
so there
it's so idealistic.
So it was very true to life, like because one of them are like when she speaks, right, you're like, okay, this is a person who like went through some schooling, and then the other person was like a complete wooden robot who spoke like a real MP, like from the other side.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, there was still more debate going on than like,
Yeah.
you know, in the.
And the best thing is they start talking about this urgent need for girls, right? the first boot camp, right? Freaking, there's only 20 soldiers in this like ghost town of a army camp, man.
Wasn't there more though?
It was more.
Were there only
It was
20?
more.
Yeah, it felt like there's only 20 of them the whole time.
There's supposed to be more. They are from Bravo, so the
Yeah.
assumption
Right.
is there will be an Alpha and Charlie. So
Because like
Yeah.
there was a scene where they were like doing something marching or what in the parade square or what, and then there was like another camp on the other side that we saw, but you can't really tell whether it's male or female. But I assume that they wouldn't be mixing the sexes up.
you assume a lot. There's a bold assumption.
Whatever I mean. So the thing I wanted to know was right, like whether, and this was never addressed in the entire movie, the question of Amanda's character. Is she supposed to be a female, or is she supposed to be a trans person in the movie? We don't know
Right.
that. And
Very good question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it was never addressed,
they didn't really do much with her in this,
Mm.
except let her just stand one corner and brood a lot.
so yeah, so if they never addressed it, right? Like, so if they didn't say that she's a trans character, then I would say that it's actually quite progressive of Jack Neo to cast her as a woman, right? Isn't it?
That's one of the conundrums that I have, right? Like, this is actually a very difficult woke question to answer. Do you cast a trans person as a cisgendered woman, or do you cast a trans person as a trans person?
Exactly. But like, let's say depending on the, but okay, let's assume that her role is an actress and she's not supposed to play herself, right? Then I would say it's actually great that this Amanda character was, given to her, right? Because it does definitely widen the opportunities of this actress, right? Like if she can go into mainstream acting
Well, I will agree
and not
with you
always have to
if-
play a trans character.
I will agree with you if they actually given her like actual material to work with.
Mm.
Oh yeah,
As of-
basically
as
she
of now,
just
she's
breaks up
basically
fights.
She's basically a fence. She's just she's just supposed to just stand between opposition A and opposition B. That's her. Even the alien also any like you big size then what like, and she's huge
yeah.
by the way, yeah.
Enforcer.
But that's what I want to know. Did they cut away scenes after the controversy? Oh my god, the question will never be answered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll never know.
Stay tuned.
I don't
for
think
the
you get the
controversy,
answer. Yeah.
For the Neo cut, yeah.
Somebody needs to like go hack into their system and
No,
find all the uncut
LongKangKitties
versions.
disavow any criminal activity.
Oh yeah. We don't. We're not involved.
That
If
was
it
just
ever comes out.
that was just a hypothetical one. Okay, don't take me seriously. But if you want to do it, like please put it on TikTok or something. I don't know.
I want to jump into the, earlier I was saying there's like a spark of creative genius, right? At the, if you peer hard enough through the veil of bullshit waterfall, and the thing that I really like about the movie was the tension between the sergeants or the officers and the leadership, the recruits and the parents and the so-called the public lah, right? There is actually a pretty good setup for these three individual parties and how they come into conflict with each other, right? So the leadership needs to train the recruits, but they cannot go overboard, but they also cannot be too relaxed, right? And then the recruits, they're always pushing boundaries, they're always like doing funny things and just coming up with nonsense ah. And then the parents, the public, right, the perception is always warped, right, by the stories that the kids tell. And so they're always like, oh shit, like this is the worst thing ever. We need to complain now, we need to send emails to whatever general and whatever. Or through the portal, the MINDEF portal or whatever. I thought that was a really good setup. Like that could have been like the plot of the show, right? And I think it's further exacerbated because the recruits are women. So then there could be this element where it plays into like, okay, like how hard are we going to train these women? Are we going to train them as hard as men? Are we going to treat them like men? Like what is the balance here? Like this could all be such great creative tension if it was played up correct, but all we get are like stupid fucking umbrella jokes and underwear jokes and,
I want to second what John inferior John said. Sorry. I mean, honestly speaking, I think there's actually a serious movie here that can be made, it's just disappointing that they decided to go with the comedic route, lah.
Yeah.
Because there are actually quite a few points in the movie itself that I thought was very valid. In one of the ways, the OC brought up the fact that, hey, you know, when you do this kind of things that doesn't contribute to training of a soldier, right, it means it's overboard. And I think that's something that has been refined over the decades of national service in Singapore. Because my personal experience is serving as an NSF, right? And then after I went to reservists and I see the new NSF coming in, it's like, yeah, hey, these guys are getting more trained and more professional, and you cannot really begrudge them for having only done 2 years because everything is accelerated. And I just thought that a lot of things can be solidified in the movie, especially like what John said, you know, the recruits are not guys, they're women, and what's changed and what can be improved and what's the, you know, something more serious rather than everything becomes a joke and I don't know lah.
For me, like as a woman, right, like when I was watching this and I was watching like, say for example, the physical punishment, in my head I'm just thinking like, I think the average girl who has been out of secondary school and has not like had PE for the longest time, right, will probably not be able to do like so many like push-ups you know.
Yeah.
Average guy also cannot.
It's like, no, but like I mean girls have like way weaker like upper body strength than men do, right?
Yeah.
So and like they were all doing standard push-ups. They're not doing like the girl style push-ups. Even Yuan was doing that like standard push-up kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So like in my head I'm like,
which I thought was a weird choice, but okay, yeah.
So like in my head I was like, wouldn't they have modified it or like given less or like you know, use a different sort of exercise to punish them, like squats or what? Like women have way like stronger lower body strength.
Like, I think,
you know.
So if that portion of what you say, right, was kind of like inserted into the movie, and then, you know, and then suddenly like you have like all this uncle complain, oh, you know, back in my day, you know, we did push up, we did proper push up, you know, why women then cannot do push up, man? I think that would have been
like, they're gonna be like, how can you defend our country if you can't even fucking do a push up?
Okay, in any movie, right, what you're trying to do is to establish conflict. There's always some conflict between party A and party B, right? The protagonist and the antagonist. And what you want to do is for the protagonist, right, to overcome the antagonist to resolve the conflict. And there is no resolution here because there is no conflict here. And there's no conflict here because Jack Neo doesn't give a shit. All he wants to do is to just like run his mouth with like dumb jokes and then put product placement in his fucking movie. And, you know, so that is the disappointing part.
There's two main conflicts. One is the aliens' disagreement over Princess giving holistic ways, and Joey's inner conflict with the boyfriend.
Yeah.
Also, right, I read a review where they called Joey a stalker, and I was like, how is she a stalker, man?
Actually, he kind of is. Angie, if I call you like 50 times a day, I think that's very stalkery.
But like, okay, like for me, right, I would say that this, not that I would do this at all, but like if you put yourself through the psyche of a girl, right, like she was broken up by the boyfriend because the boyfriend initiated it. She didn't want the breakup, and now she's stuck in camp, right, like where she cannot go and visit the boyfriend. Of course, she will try to call him. And of course, then he's not picking up her phone. Then, you know, the first book out, that's definitely the first thing you want to try to do, right? You want to go and see him to see whether, like, you can resolve this issue. And we were never shown, like, what else she did after the suicide attempt, right? So, because, like, it happened directly before she went into the army. And this character, she's the fucking most sway character in the whole entire fucking army. Everything that's bad that can happen now happened to her, basically. So she was under so much stress, and then she committed suicide. She attempted suicide. But and even though she said that it was not because of the bullying that happened that she wanted to jump, right? It was, I think, it's the accumulative stress, right? Of being in there. So like, those people who say that, oh, how can you portray her as a girl who only cares about the relationship? Yes, on the surface it looks like that, but if you look at the very tiny
Yeah.
short character arc that she had, like, is very stressful, right? Imagine, like, if you're a woman, right, you never have to worry about that. And so there's no mental prep for that sort of like shitty screaming at you kind of culture that they have.
I'm sure in one of the the other army movies that Jack Neo has made, right? There's like a male mirror equivalent of Joey, where the guy is
Because
in
it
camp
is
and the girlfriend just broke up with him, and then he's just like,
because
you know,
this
like,
is the
stressed
thing,
out
right?
about
That
it,
guys like they get broken up with when they are in the army,
Mm.
and these are all like real issues. And I just feel like I don't feel like she was really, the portrayal of her wasn't as bad as I read out there, like, really.
Mm.
Taking
No, it
into
wasn't.
consideration the whole sequence of events that happened to her.
yeah. So I think the
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 other thing that I wanted to point out, right, is that men are very used to aggression and like shouting at each other. Even
That's-
like when
that's not precisely true, but okay, yeah.
No,
I mean,
it's not
but,
true.
No, but like I think when guys roughhouse, right, like when you play with your guy friends, you would say shit to each other, right? Like the way that you bond is like by insulting each other. Girls don't do that, you know. Girls are like, they just smile at you and then stab you in the back.
Yeah. Okay, the suicide thing, right?
So-
I thought it was
Yeah.
okay. Like there should have been some element of, maybe not in this movie lah. I think it should have been pushed to the next movie or what. Like the so-called the accumulation of it towards the end of BMT, right? Like you, despite knowing that you're going to like POP or like passing out parade soon, and then after that, you know, the accumulated stress of like possibly failing and then retaking the course, so maybe that would have been a better kind of like crux of the movie then. But I think while it's good, right, to tackle the topic of suicide in NS, which is
Not
a
in
very
this
serious
way,
problem.
yeah.
The way
Yeah.
they did it, right, was so
Was terrible,
like,
lah.
was just
Yeah.
so fucking abysmally like tone deaf
It-
to the point
they
where I'm just
didn't-
like, I wish they have taken that out rather than like
They
some of the other
they
things.
didn't give it the respect it deserves, for
Yeah.
sure. Especially that princess part where she started that. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, what the fuck.
And we have to highlight how Princess took initiative to be aware of she tied some soft toy to an incredibly long string.
The string became like so much longer.
Super longer, right?
Yeah.
Afterwards.
The first time we
Retarded,
saw
yeah.
the string, fucking it wasn't that long. I know it wasn't that long, alright?
Can I just point out, right? Like, which idiot, right? Even if you're like super duper depressed, you wouldn't feel a string tugging on your leg when you get out of bed.
There's definitely
Yeah.
you'll feel the drag lah, correct or not?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Best
Whatever.
that one.
I mean, it's a movie that Jack Neo made, so
She took initiative, which was like something that the
actually-
film obsessively harped on. Initiative.
that was, you know, that scene where like all the higher ranking people were like saying like, you know, we need to find the right balance. And how do we do it? We have to take initiative. And how do you take initiative? By finding the right balance. That whole point, right, was like, I'm like, oh my god, that's exactly it. It must be like that's the most real part of the fucking movie.
Yeah,
It is.
It is.
That's why it's funny.
That's why it's funny. But
Yeah.
the kind of like that was the setup, right? The payoff in terms of Princess tying that string, right? It's not a good payoff. It just feels incredibly
Stupid.
dumb. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Princess
know.
is a fascinating character, man. I wonder like what planet is she living on?
Yeah.
Are you sure she's living on any known planets? Like, it's a fucking alien.
I
creature.
mean, I don't want to know also.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why they had to choose her as the narrating character.
Right?
Because hearing her voice the whole time makes me like so angry. I'm like, do you not go to school? How can you not know how to pronounce initiative?
I feel that's
Like, what
really
happened to
deliberately a Jack Neo flourish. Like it's like okay, let's speak English very poorly because it will be funny, and it does feel funny at a lot of times. So
But it's so unbelievable.
yeah, it's not believable at all. It's like
Isn't it in
wait,
小孩部分 that like the I Not Stupid show where like it was also like rich parents had a really stupid kid?
yeah, and the kid who mysteriously had a Taiwanese accent because the kid is from Taiwan and he speaks English like, "Where is my pink dolphin? I want to drink my pink dolphin." You know that kid. Yeah.
Another product placement, epic.
Yeah. Pink
Yeah.
dolphin.
Anyways,
So the one good thing about the film, the emotional heart of the film was when Sergeant Chow, in his, like he like basically the whole the mounting tension, right, that the recruits was facing during the camp, between the aliens and Princess and the various recruits getting punished, for abandoning each other in outfield, so on and so forth. It all culminates, right, in like a giant bunk fight. And during this bunk fight, one of the buckets was tossed and it landed on Sergeant Chow's head. So after that, right, Sergeant Chow was like, "Do you know this is a very serious offense?" Then after that, he got all of them to fall into the parade square and then did a defaulters parade, which is to just keep non-stop doing drills, the foot drills. And then in the middle of it, of course, for extremely no good reason but dramatic effect, the rain had to start pouring down. And then it's not Cat 1, but like they make it very clear, it's not Cat 1, guys. It's not Cat 1. Cat 1 is category 1, by the way, for NG, which is got lightning and thunder. And
they
then,
explained it in the movie.
Yeah, okay. So after all of that, right, then of course the recruits went and called it's supposed to be also once again like a heavy emotional moment, and I know this because the music tells me this is the case. And then
God forbid you make that assumption on your own.
Yeah. So and because when the recruits was on the phone talking to their parents, it was all muted. It was silent. It was you just see the mouth moving and then their anguished face. So that's how I know Jack Neo is telling me to be emotionally distraught. Supposed to be empathize with the recruits. Okay, so after all of that, right, the officers they question Sergeant Chow on his decision to force the recruits to go through the defaulters parade. So they were saying that, okay, there's a SOP, right? There's a standard operating procedure. The whole lot is supposed to kena confinement for 3 weeks. And then his rationale was, I didn't want them to be confined. I'd make the decision to punish them so that they won't be confined. And then of course the officer said, now I cannot confine them because there'll be double punishment. Which I thought actually that portion, and then Sergeant Chow actually subsequently made like with the platoon commander, and it's supposed to be a heart-to-heart talk, which is the one where he talked about his grandmother being a strong, independent woman, whatever. He said that because I was confined, I couldn't visit my grandma on her deathbed. So the booking out, right, is such an important aspect for the recruits that taking it away from them, right, is more cruel than the defaulters parade. Okay, that portion, right, touched my fucking heart, bro. I felt, right, oh my god, this is touching. This is a sergeant that was portrayed as an antagonist, then came out and had a good reason for doing what he did. I felt touched. Okay? Only for the movie to have ended. Stay tuned for part 2.
Exactly, right?
Fuck you, Jack Neo, okay?
That was a fucking insult, man, I'm telling you. Okay? And the thing is, at that point, right, when he talked about his grandmother passing away when he was confined, right, that actually happened to me, right? So it actually did happen to me. My grandma passed away when I was in camp, okay? And there was a beautiful moment there, and then it's like, to be continued. Oh, the fuck, man. Hey, dude, fuck you, lah. It's a 3-month BMT. Please don't make it a fucking trilogy. I don't want to see this movie 3 times.
Yeah, it's so... Man... I felt really cheated. Like it was definitely fucking bamboozling, right? It's
I really hate the part where you're like, oh, do you do this because you fall in love with one of the inmates, one of the recruits
inmates
at the army? I mean, for me, it would be that if I had to go into like the army, I would think that it's a reason. But anyways, like I was just like, why are they so insistent that he has to fall in love with a recruit just to be a good fucking person?
Yeah, and they brought it up a few times. Like,
yeah, it's like, I cannot believe that you're doing this just for the wellness of the company.
Yeah, if you
must
brought
be
it up,
because
if you
you
brought
love
it up
someone.
once, it's like a joke. You bring it up 2 times, it's like, wait, is this supposed to be a plot point that
Like,
I'm not aware of?
Is it like all sergeants are such assholes that you cannot be a nice person? Like you cannot do something because you are genuinely motivated?
Yeah, it's fucking.
So,
dumb.
anyways,
Yeah.
can we end this already? I think we've gone on for like long enough, and my battery
Oh,
is
if
like
you
dying.
need to go, I'm gonna. There's still one last portion of it, which is the creative bankruptcy of Jack Neo.
Okay,
Yeah, if you need to, if you need to.
I can still hold in there for a while,
Yeah.
but not
Go
very
in
long.
there for Jack Newman.
Yeah, for Jack Neo.
Oh, it was Jack
Can
Neo,
you
man.
just hurry up already?
Fuck you! This is my show. I'll do whatever. Don't tell me what to do, NG. Okay. So speaking of NG, so this is the NG sticker. Like fuck you. Okay. Product placement done. There's also the Jerry sticker which we'll do at the end. Yeah.
Where's the Denmong sticker?
I'm not
Oh, you
doing
are-
not this
I'm
show,
not doing
man,
the
not this
fucking
show.
Denmong sticker, okay?
Yeah,
Fuck
not this
Denmong.
show.
He
You
rather
can fuck
die on
off.
the
Because
hill.
he's not here.
I'm gonna bring it on the hill and gonna shoot him myself. Okay, I'm gonna die on
Dude,
this.
you know what you can do? You can take the Denmong sticker and set it on fire.
I'm not gonna do it in my house. A lot of fires in my neighborhood nowadays. You know, fucking the whole south of Singapore is like on fire. Didn't you see?
Okay, yeah, so the creative bankruptcy of the movie.
Yep. Of Jack Neo lah in general, and I kind of want to use this chance to reminisce about the good old days basically, and the really like Jack Neo in the past was so different, and
The golden era of Jack Neo.
yeah,
Where he actually had social commentary and then was like making incisive social commentary, like statements about like the world and society that we are living in, you know?
and it had good jokes. I mean, until today, right, kwanima.com is still like one of the most premier joke that is stuck in your head for the rest of your life. Like it's so ridiculous, right? So
Right.
where has that Jack Neo gone?
I think Jack Neo just became like a caricature of himself now.
Right.
Like he is just banking on like what works, and then all the heart has gone into the trash already. Oh no, sorry, not into the trash, into the bank.
I was talking to John just now before you all come in. I feel like this is something to do with age as well, because Jack Neo is like 62 years old now,
Yeah.
and if you think from 62 years old, right, making a film, right, is a damn bloody tiring thing. I don't think he has that energy that much, right, to really think deeply or try to really engage on very thought-provoking things compared to, let's say, 2002, where he was making I Not Stupid, right? So
Probably because he like spent all the energy effing like his young girls, I guess, or what.
I don't know, man. But he was like 42 years old when I Not Stupid come out, and then when the first Money No Enough, he was like 30 plus. So I think at that point of time, right, he was still sharp. You see.
I would say this, and in general for creatives, there are different types of creatives. There are the creatives who reach their peak early in life, where they have all the good ideas when they are young, and then you see their creative output like go down the hill. And then there are those creatives who get better with age. Clearly, Jack Neo is one of the former.
Correct.
And this is across all sorts of like formats of art, right? Like painting, like sculpture. You can see all sorts of people who have peaked early and then like
But that's the thing,
get
right?
better with age.
I don't think that's the case. Like I said earlier, when I saw the spark of genius within this movie,
But he didn't reach for it, did he?
Correct.
he
didn't.
reach for it not
And
because he couldn't. I think not because he's not capable of creative genius, right? It's not because he peaked a long time ago. It's some other
Bro,
culture. I mean,
he
of course-
made 4 fucking like A Boys to Men movie. They're all shit, right?
Well, okay, so
The first one was okay, I think.
yeah, the first one was fine. So we know, okay,
And then it just got worse.
yeah, we know the spiral is there, right? So we assume that he's not the he's not the latter.
So he's in the last throes of the death spiral, is it? Like he's like flopping around dying
it,
already.
it is like that. I feel so.
Yeah, okay lah. Maybe
the
he should.
detachment starts to begin from the first A Boys movie, and in like 2010 onwards, right? You know, he's starting to work with like YouTube celebrities and all that, right? Which is fine, you see. But when your films start to take a visual aesthetic, right, that at one glance could look like a YouTube video, right? your craft starts to become even more sloppy. That's not to say that, his films are YouTube movies, but there are times of this shoddiness, you see.
Yeah.
My general thing is just that I think he should finish this series of Girls Go Army, right, and then just stop already.
No. He should just do the second film and that's it.
Finish it.
Don't ever. No, I think the problem with him is he took on too much sponsorships, and partly that kind of hampers his ability to tell a story, because he has to worry about, okay, what will my sponsors say if I say this kind of things that challenge the rock the boat or challenge the status quo.
But didn't he always have sponsors?
He does lah, but maybe he's finding it more difficult to get sponsorships.
Yeah, it is.
And he has to increasingly lose leverage in order to bring money into the production. Because honestly speaking, right, granted that he is able to get his funding with the movie, this Our Girls Go Army movie, not specifically endorsed by MINDEF or sponsored by any of the government groups, right? He can go very, very far, very, very deep to question a lot of things about military service in a small country and things like that. But again, he didn't, he decided to go into reach out to his comedic roots and just make it kind of like a comedy movie and that's it.
I do hope that Jack Neo makes a funny movie again, because I still think he's actually funny. Just stop making army movies and
I wish,
part 1 and 2.
Yeah, I wish he would just stop being so self-referential and self-conscious in his movies. Just make a good story, man. There's no need to involve so many oh look, see, haha, I'm trying to be funny. Come on, man. Stop that shit, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's also the other thing, right, which is because of this movie, he is able to pay his actors, I would hazard to guess, a reasonable wage or reasonable rate.
Apparently he pays people very, very poorly.
I mean,
I would say that if he made a
if let's say this had the opening weekend of I Know Stupid, which is 400,000, right? Which is, there's no way that he can even make the current pay, which is apparently shit now. It will be even shittier.
Have you factored in inflation?
So
have you factored in the fact that people
1.
now have way much more
extra
money to spend on things like
1.6 million compared to 400,000 is a 4x difference.
How much were HDBs back then?
It's not 4 times cheaper, right? I mean, it's maybe half as cheap.
Yeah, I guess we have to see not just the opening weekend, right? We have to see the whole run of the movie, right? How much it made.
No, if we compare opening weekend to opening weekend, right? I mean, let's just compare that.
There wasn't a controversy then also, right? Not that I remember.
But I think the point of it, right, is that Jack Neo has a brand now, and then this brand, right, can harness a certain reasonable amount of people to watch his films.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, he's able to... Okay, maybe he pays his actors shit, right? But there's also a lot more involved now, and maybe he... the supporting crew also needs to be paid, so on and so forth, right? So there's definitely more money circulating in that ecosystem than before, and that could be the impetus, right, for us to have better movies in the future. He could be the giant that people step on his shoulders upon in the future, where we can really focus on good story instead of making money. Yeah. Because if let's say Jack Neo was just to forever create good films, but all his opening weekends is $100,000, $200,000, then he cannot pay his actors. Nobody wants to work with him. Nobody wants to distribute the film. GV is not going to...
Wait. So you're saying that we shouldn't leave good films to Jack Neo and leave that to the indie directors, and then Jack Neo continues his brand of really terrible movies? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, there's an audience for it, right? I mean, people are watching it and whatever. So, why
can't he make a good, funny, and intelligent movie that people will want to pay to watch?
Actually, to be honest, right, I think if they cut the movie in a slightly different way, it will make a lot more sense. If they cut the movie in the way, I mean, my opinion, if they cut the movie in the perspective strictly from the perspective of Princess. You track her story from being a rich princess sent off by Jack Neo and Chen Li Ping to army, and then all the way to her realizing that, I must take initiative to, I grow up already. But I think that would have been a much better story to begin with, and you have less problems. You focus on one character, on how she grow, rather than now I have like 15 characters who I don't give a shit about, honestly speaking.
Okay, so in the chat, right, they are asking who would play John, Dan, Jerry, any Asian actor. Blog user, thank you very much. He said John will be played by Christopher Lee. Great. Handsome man. I love it. Dan Wong will be played by Ouyang Zhenhua. I don't know who's that.
It's a Hong Kong actor who was quite popular in the 90s and TVB actor.
Does he look like Dan?
No. Completely don't look like that.
Is he better looking than Dan?
He looks like a very solid character actor. You confirm know him. He acted in 我来也, this Channel 8 drama with Li Nansing.
Okay, now that sounds familiar. Okay. I need to go and check it out. Okay, so Angie will be played by Sylvia Lim.
I'll be honored.
Then after that they say no, not wrong Sylvia, NOC Sylvia.
Fuck all of you, man.
Jerry will be played by Qi Yiwu. I also don't know who's that.
Qi Yiwu is the Channel 8 actor, what is it, Joanne Pay's husband.
Who said that? Blog user,
yep. Blog user is helping the guys out, not so much helping.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Someone
Clearly
asked,
there's a bias. Misogynistic asshole, thanks.
What about Stephen Lim?
Stephen Lim will play himself.
I think Stephen Lim can play as Dan.
I think he can play with Dan.
Yeah.
Alright. I guess we have gone on for a while. Angie, I guess you need to go. And then
Yes, I do.
So the last product placement of this show will be the Jerry sticker. Yay. Okay. Get our merch, guys. Okay, get it from our.
You all have a magical moment today.
Dan Wong isn't here, so.
Oh yeah, true.
There's no magical moment, but yeah, I think. Okay, maybe we can just like leave one suggestion to Jack Neo. Jack Neo, if you're listening to this, right, like, okay, you would listen to us, bro. We will tell you what to do. Okay, fuck your 50 years experience, whatever. You don't know shit. We know better.
Listen to us who have zero experience except for John, Superior John. Except for Superior John. Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna make your movie way better.
Yeah.
Jack Neo, you can do it, man.
Anybody want to start first? One suggestion.
I already said mine. Just focus on Princess and bring her to the beginning to the end.
I will say mine.
Yeah.
Like, don't focus on Princess. Don't even have Princess as a character. She's fucking annoying.
Just make the story about Sergeant Chow.
Yeah.
I know it's Agago Army, but you clearly need a man in all things. Just focus on him.
My suggestion is that if you can just script the entire movie and just tell it from a perspective of a retired lieutenant colonel or something. Just tell a story more of your age. Yeah.
Lydia,
he's too cut off. Yeah. He's
Lydia,
way too not connected to our generation, I think.
Yeah. So actually, I think it's good if he starts to tell stories. Because it's also hard. It's hard. For someone in his 60s to try to really invest in the youth. You see.
Didn't he do one about Singapore's history?
He did, and
something about kampong or village or what?
That is something he actually did quite well in because he lived through those, so it's up his alley, you see.
I watched the first one and I thought it was pretty alright.
It's pretty alright. It's actually pretty alright. He's quite good at it. Yeah.
Anyways.
Lydia in the chat, her advice is that he should just retire, which is legit advice. Yeah.
Legit advice. Yeah.
Alright, that would be.
Wait, hang on. Meowcat Cool said something that resonates with me. Dan Wong should be played by Kurt Day.
Oh yes. But Kurt Day, right? Apparently he got outed, right, as a cat abuser or something. he abandoned his cat. Yeah. Dan Wong go and posted in that Facebook post, and I'm just like, Dan Wong, I got you now, bro. I got you by the fucking balls. Your hero is an asshole. You have nowhere else to go. Okay, I mean, I'm gonna mock him.
Speaking of Dan Wong, this is totally irrelevant, but Dan Wong had a Facebook post, if you all remember. He had this weird ass dream where he tried to eat Pao Fan, and then there's Li Nansing making advertisements about how he was a con man. I think Jack Neo needs to turn that into a film, and that is infinitely.
Lydia, Lydia, maybe you should like convince Dan Wong to make his dreams into movies. Yeah. That would be a better show, probably.
It'll be a really good movie if it was like a very meta movie.
Yeah.
It's like Jack Neo saw the Facebook post and then approached Dan Wong to say, hey, I want to turn this Facebook post into a movie. And then the whole time Dan Wong is just like super confused, but going like rolling the punches and then just like getting caught up in all sort of wacky situation, and then actually meeting Li Nansing, who actually disapproves of him because Li Nansing has seen the Good Citizen post, and Li Nansing is a very pro PAP guy, and it's just like,
remember that show that I think Jim Carrey acted in, where he didn't know that he was being like watched in a reality sitcom.
The Truman Show. The Truman.
Yeah. Like that should be what's happening to Dan Wong. Like all this like weird shit is happening to him, right? And then he's like, oh my god, what the fuck is it? And then actually it's just a movie.
Turns out it's just a reality TV.
Jack Neo movie. It's a Jack
Oh my god! That is a fantastic idea, man.
It's a meta to a meta movie.
Yeah. I think that should be the movie that Jack Neo is making.
You all should pitch there and then pitch to me watch.
Okay, anyways, I got to go. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Yep, and we will also be heading off. Thank you very much, John, for
thank you, John, for coming on.
Welcome. It's a
spending
pleasure.
your time and helping us review this movie. Where can our audience find you, or if you want to be found at all?
Me?
Yeah, like do you have anything you want to plug? I know you did like a couple of short films recently.
I do a few Charlie Lim music videos, so you all can check that out online on YouTube. And that's about it. I have a Vimeo page. There's just some films of mine up there.
Okay. What is the name of the Vimeo page? Like what do they search?
Oh shit. Jonathan Choo lah. I think you can find.
Okay.
Yeah, over there.
Alright. Anyway, I'll probably put a link somewhere either in the description or something.
Sure. No problem.
Yeah.
No
so
problem.
once again, thank you very much. Thank you very much, our dear audience, for listening through our live stream. I hope you like it. This is the first time we're doing the movie review on live stream. I just wanted to try something out. I think this format, right, it's a lot more comprehensive than the audio only format, and where we are forced to compact everything within 1 hour. And it never makes sense, right, for us to discuss films in a chronological sense. I think that makes it like really, really weird. So I think films, for me, I just want to discuss it. There's the before the film, during the film, and after the film, and kind of like whatever meta narrative around the film as well.
Mm-hmm.
So let me know if you guys like this format or if you absolutely fucking hate it. Just leave a comment, message me directly. You can find me on Discord, and also of course buy our merch. Okay. Our stickers, they are available at the Facebook marketplace. And yep, that shall be all. We shall see you next time. Goodbye.
See you guys. Bye.
See you guys.